So here we are. The start of the EFL season starts on Friday night. So it's time to share my final team selection for Game Week 1 of Fantasy EFL. Before we get into the team selection, I'm quickly going to go through my predictions for the new season. Let me know in the comments what your predictions are for each league, and we can come back to them later in the season. Let's start with the Championship. I'll put my whole prediction on screen, but I won't talk about each position because we'll be here all night. So I've got Leeds winning the league, with Burnley joining them in the automatic places. I've got Coventry, Middlesbrough, Sheffield United and Luton in the playoffs, with Sheffield Wednesday, Norwich and West Brom just missing out. I did think about putting West Brom lower down, but I think they can turn around their bad form from pre-season and finish the season well. And then my three clubs to get relegated this season are Derby at the bottom, followed by Plymouth and actually Blackburn. If they can keep Smodix, then they have a much better chance of staying up, but if they do lose him, I'm sorry, but I can't see anything else but relegation. I've got Watford and Oxford just avoiding the drop. In League 1, I've got Birmingham to win the league, with Rotherham joining them in the automatics. At the time of recording, Huddersfield are still interested in signing Joe Taylor from Luton, which, if that gets over the line, then I may have to swap Huddersfield and Rotherham around, but at the minute, I've got Huddersfield in third, with Barnsley, Bolton and Charlton joining them in the playoffs. And then I've got Blackpool, Wigan, Peterborough and Lincoln all missing out. I've also got Wrexham to finish just at mid-table finish in 11th. Then going to the bottom of the league, I've got Crawley, which I'm sure is no surprise to everyone. And I've got Shrewsbury, Northampton and Cambridge joining them in the relegation zone. But I do expect Exeter, Mansfield, Burton and Stevenage all to be around the fight to avoid the drop. League 2 was a lot harder to be fair, and I did struggle with this, but I've actually gone for Gillingham to win the league this year. And it was between them and Chesterfield for me, so I've put Chesterfield in second, with Fleetwood joining them in the automatic promotion places. I've then put Cheltenham, Doncaster, Barrow and Carlisle in the playoffs, with Crewe and Port Vale missing out. And then down at the bottom I've got Bromley and Colchester going down, with Grimsby, Salford and Accrington Stanley just surviving. So that's my predictions for the season. Again, let me know what you agree and disagree on, and we can have a debate in the comments. Let's move on to the team selection then. In goal, I've gone for Daniel Grimshaw from Blackpool, who play against Crawley. He kept 18 clean sheets last season, with a save percentage of 70.3%. He also saved 2 out of 5 penalties. I expect Crawley to be very weak this season, and Blackpool to be quite strong, so I feel this is a good fixture to target for Game Week 1, especially for the clean sheet. Moving into defence, I've got Anthony O'Connor from Harrogate and Cheyenne Dunkley from Chesterfield. Cheyenne Dunkley is at about 3.7% ownership, and was playing for Shrewsbury last season and made 320 clearances, an average of 7.4 per 90. Chesterfield are one of the favourites to win League 2 and beat Derby 4-0 in a pre-season game, so I think they've got a good clean sheet potential and he's a 90-minute man. His tackles won percentage is as high as 97.6%, so could gain even more points from every 2 successful tackles. He scored 4 goals last season, which is an XG of 0.13 per 90. But I expect that to increase now, dropping down a league. He took 41 shots last season with 14 on target, which proves his attacking potential, so I think he's a great pick for Game Week 1 against Swindon on Friday night. Anthony O'Connor is only at 0.1% ownership, and plays Bromley first game of the season. O'Connor made 280 clearances at 6.5 per 90 last season, and also 1.4 blocks per 90. So I'm hoping he can get an extra 2 or 3 points in Game Week 1 from the clearances and blocks, giving +1 points. So when combining that with the clean sheet potential, I think he's a great pick for Game Week 1. His attacking potential is definitely lower than Dunkley, but he also managed to score 5 goals and 1 assist across last season, so I'm happy with it. Moving into midfield, I've got Jack Nolan and Sammy Smodix. Jack Nolan is at 0.5% ownership and was playing at Accrington Stanley last season, where he scored 17 goals and got 8 assists. He's now moved to Gillingham, who are a better side, and should be pushing for at least playoffs if not higher next season. He has an expected goals per 90 of 0.34 and basically has a shot on target every game at 0.98 per 90 with a 62% shot accuracy. His stats look really good, and I believe he can play on either wing, so to be classified as a midfielder on this game means he could get some really good points. He had 615 successful passes, created 90 chances and also had 90 successful crosses. The only downside is that he only managed 12 interceptions, as in the position he plays in, those scenarios are less likely to happen, so he may miss out on some of those extra points, and Gillingham do play Carlisle first game, who I expect to be quite strong this season. That being said, he's an explosive player, and we know he can find the net, so I'm willing to take that risk with him and have him in my Game Week 1 team, alongside Smodix, who at the minute is actually my captain for Game Week 1. Obviously, there's been a lot of rumours about Smodix leaving, so obviously that would be the only reason he would leave my team. With those rumours, there's also obviously the chance and the question marks that he might actually not start for Blackburn, but I've got nothing to worry about with that because Blackburn play against Derby on Friday night, which is obviously the first game of the season. So we'll get the lineups before, so we'll actually know whether he's in the team or not, and then we can quickly change it if he's not in the starting 11. If he is still at Blackburn though, I do expect him to be starting, so I'm not too worried. I don't really need to talk about him much. He was the Championship's top scorer last season in a rubbish Blackburn side. He scored 27 goals and got 4 assists. He's also playing against the Derby side that are leaking goals everywhere, so it's a no-brainer that he's a captain, really. It's basically like having Erling Haaland for free in FPL. Then finally up top, I've gone for Alfie May and Jordan Rhodes. I don't really think Alfie May needs that much of an explanation either, really. He's selected by 30.3% of players at the time of recording, and is playing in an overpowered Birmingham side in League One who have spent like 20 to 30 million. If they don't win the league this year, then that is a complete embarrassment. So, yeah, Alfie May was League One's top scorer with Charlton last season with 23 goals and 1 assist. I do expect Reading to be better than last season, but with it being the first game in League One at home for Birmingham, I just can't see May not scoring. And an extra point for every 2 shots on target would be very nice. He's actually my vice-captain for Game Week 1. And then finally, Jordan Rhodes, now playing permanently for Blackpool. He scored 15 goals and 3 assists last season on loan from Blackpool at the end of the season. He has an expected goals of 0.51 per 90, so basically 1 goal every 2 games, and takes 1.26 shots on target per 90 as well. Basically, the stats are fantastic. He knows how to find the net, and I've already talked about with Grimshaw why we should be attacking that Crawley fixture. So yeah, that's my team. I've really tried to get a good balance of like the main players like Alfie May and Smodix with high ownership, but then also some good differentials that can capitalise on the point system, and if it goes my way, it'll put me in a really good position on the leaderboard. Finally, we just need to look at my 2 fixture choices. So you get 5 points for a win, an extra 2 points for an away win, 2 points for a clean sheet, and 2 points for every 2 goals scored. So the teams I've picked is Norwich against Oxford, which is an away fixture that I expect Norwich to win, with at least 2 goals scored as well. And then Blackpool against Crawley, which is also an away fixture that should be a Blackpool win. I'm surprised that Norwich is only selected by 13.3% of people, and Blackpool by just 3.2%. If it stays that low by the start of the game week, I could really get a good start to the season here. So that's it. I actually can't wait for the start of the season. We've finally got proper football back. Let me know what you think of my team, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at the FPL Terrier, so you can see even more of my thoughts and live updates throughout the games. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out, and I'll see you in the next one.